Okay, we're going to go ahead and get started. Thanks so much for joining, everybody. It's so great to have you guys here on the webinar this beautiful Tuesday night. I'm Emily, and Michael, who you can see now, is co-hosting with me. So we're going to kind of be back and forth. He's going to take the reins here in a little bit, and then I'll pop back in at the end. But basically, yeah, we're going to talk about how to 10x your deal flow. So a lot of angel investors and other investors on tonight with us, which is really exciting to see. So I'm going to pass it off to Michael, and he's going to share his screen, and we'll get started.
Okay. Can everyone hear me? Okay. So, as Emily said, thank you guys for taking the time to chat with us this evening. We are going to walk you through a little deck. So I need to screen share. I think I need permission. And while we wait, curious, where are people tuning in from? If you want to put it in the chat. All right. Okay, so if everyone can see this, we're going to go ahead and get started. So before we dive in, we have a quick question for you. How many deals do you think you're missing out on each year as an investor? And you can either type this in the chat, or you can just reflect on your own and think about how many deals are out there that you could possibly have visibility into that you are missing out on. So while you think about that, we'll just give you the stat that the average kind of large VC firm will see 3,000 to 4,000 deals in any given year. And in that same year, there is about 50,000 new startups that are seeking venture funding. So obviously, you guys can do the math on that. You're missing quite a bit amount of the possible investment opportunities out there. And when thinking about this, we want to break this problem down and think about, well, what is causing this lack of visibility and how could we solve for that? So as it stands, the kind of standard process for sourcing deals is broken into your inbound, your outbound, and your warm intros. And this creates kind of a scattered deal flow web. So you have different sources. It's no standard approach and makes tracking the efficacy of any of these given channels difficult to assess. And it's not all standardized. So you have maybe scouts communicating in one way on one platform, and you have your contact forms on your website bringing in inbound in a totally different way. So it's messy. It might get the job done. You might have a bunch of different tools that you use, and it's working, but ultimately it's inefficient. And we believe it's inefficient because it still requires a ton of manual entry, even if you're using expensive CRMs like Affinity or Visible, something that tries to solve that problem. You still have to go in and input all of the deal data, and that costs you time and energy, and that makes it all inefficient. There's also no standardized channel or archival method for deals that you might want to pass but continue to track. And this whole process makes it hard for founders to pitch you. Often they don't know where to go and how best to reach out to you, and there's no standard process. You also, in this current ecosystem of sourcing deals, can't really track the success of your network referrals. So maybe you have a Portco investor list of 40 people, and you want to get insights into well, how much am I getting from each individual channel? And you can't really do that with anything out there right now. And all this leads to a lot of opportunity lost. I think most investors can relate to that feeling of FOMO, or the fear of missing out on potential unicorns or deals that are gonna do really well. And the best way to gain more visibility into that is by seeing more deals that are out there. So who are we, and why should you listen to us? Basically, we are a team of founders and investors coming together. We have history in working in the VC space, as well as founders starting their own business. And we saw the pain points on both ends of that equation. So the inefficiency for VC stakeholders, as well as the inefficiencies for founders who reach out to investors and get ghosted, and the whole system just is very inefficient. So our goal was streamlining this deal flow process and bringing it into one cohesive platform. So we've created Startup Networx, and we're here today to tell you a little bit more about that. It's a completely free platform, and we're actually going to give you some access to the platform for 6 months just for attending the webinar, and a year free if you stick around and give us some feedback after using the platform. So we're not trying to sell you on anything crazy here, but we want to show you what the capabilities are. So if you are an investor, there's several different benefits that we want to call out. So a founder can pitch you with one click, and this is one of the ways that we streamline the deal flow. So you share a pitchable link, which we'll walk you through on different, whether it's your website, your socials, or different inbound methods. So it makes it a lot easier for founders to pitch you directly. Also, we're streamlining that deal flow while keeping it proprietary. So everything that is embedded into Networx stays proprietary, and that data is kept just for you. So with this platform, you're also going to be able to increase the visibility into a lot more deals by leveraging your networks, which we'll show you how to do. And you can also manage workflow a little bit easier by assigning different team members tasks. And as we said, we wanted this to also benefit founders. So with founders, they are going to enjoy an increase in transparency. So they'll know kind of where they stand in the fundraise process, and they won't just get ghosted if they're moved along or not moved along into an investor's pipeline. And this is going to help build trust with investors and make it a little bit easier to get to know them, as well as a way to improve the communication between founders and investors. And most of all, they can pitch an investor with just one click. So before we dive into the actual platform, I'm curious, what are your guys' current biggest risks or biggest challenges you face while sourcing? If anyone wants to message what your biggest issue in sourcing is, or you can just reflect on it. And then we'll show you the platform. Okay. All right, so now we're going to dive into the actual platform. So when you first log in to Startup Networx, you're going to be prompted to fill out basic profile information that's going to help other founders get to know you and help them decide whether it's a good fit to pitch you on their startup. So this is kind of an overview of what, when you first sign up, it takes anywhere between 5 to 10 minutes to input, depending on if you want to add your deal history, which again you can do to kind of verify some of your successful exits or investments. And that would be ultimately would wind up here in that investments tab in your profile. But again, this is just all prompted when you first sign up for the platform. And once you are logged in, you'll be able to get a pitchable link, which will show you what that looks like for founders. But this is what you're going to want to copy and paste and put on your Twitter, your LinkedIn, your homepage for basically easier access for founders to pitch you with one click. And we'll show you exactly what that looks like from a founder's perspective in a little while. But to start, I wanted to just point that out, that that's going to be basically the mechanism by which you streamline the deal flow and bring current or new projects in to Networx. Luckily, you can also add any existing deals that you're tracking or working on. You can add those manually into the platform, but this will be the best way to streamline future deal flow. So once you have an active deal dashboard, this is what it will look like. You'll see the total number of deals that you're tracking, what's new and pending. So this is where if someone clicks that pitchable link and they decide to send you their pitch, you'll see that here. You'll see your pipeline, and as well as things that you've archived but are continuing to track. And then once you commit, you'll see that in your portfolio. So let's say Mark Zuckerberg decided he wanted to pitch you with that pitchable link that you shared on your Twitter. He clicked one button, he filled out his basic information in 5 to 20 minutes for founders, depends on how in depth they want to go with their pitch or how much material they already have ready, but it's a lot easier of a process. So he pitches you on Networx and he joins for free, and you see a new deal now in your new/pending little tier here in your dashboard. You're then going to have the option to view the pitch. You can pass and track, you can pass and don't track, or you can share the deal with others in your network. And you'll also have those options here, but let's just walk you through what this process looks like. So this is the pitch card where you get all the information necessary to make a decision on the pitch. You'll get basic team information, including the company stage, as well as location and number of employees. And if the founder would like, they can call out why they think they're a good fit for you as an investor. You'll also see the opportunity and KPIs here based on the business model, the timing, and more. Next, you can see past fundraising rounds, if they have any, as well as their pitch deck, which you can download and view, and if they have any videos that they want to share with you, you can go ahead and watch that there. In order to take action on this pitch, you can go here and add it to your pipeline. You can pass and track, and you can pass and don't track. You can also do this from the deals dashboard that we were just on, which I'll show you in just one moment, but we'll call out some additional features here. If you'd like, you can take notes on the deal privately if you have notes that you want to remember about what you thought about that particular pitch. You can share notes with your team internally, or if you've added a network of co-investors, you can take notes and say, I think this is a great opportunity, wanting to call it out for everyone. If on the founder's end, they want to update you with notes, if you're tracking, even if you pass and track, you'll be able to see any updates that they create here in the Investor Update tab. Next, you can share with anyone in your pipeline or anyone in your network, and they'll pop up here. Or you can chat with the founder directly, either by typing here, or if the founder has added their email, you can email them as well. So now that you've seen this pitch come through, let's go back to your deal dashboard. So you'll also have the ability to move this deal into your pipeline just by clicking and dragging. Oh, let's go here. So you can click and drag the deal across different pipeline cells, and you can format these yourself. It's fully customizable. So if you have a particular phase that's important in your due diligence process, you can add those in manually here and move them along into the pipeline. Next, if you want to take action on that, you'll still have those buttons, and you can chat and take notes here. So we're familiar with that from viewing the pitch, but just wanted to call out those options as well here. And then once you commit, you'll be prompted to fill in these details, and the founder will get notified. So those are the main features of Networx. From the investor side, you'll also be able to see any pending deals. You'll be able to look at your pipeline and portfolio, as well as any deals that you've archived. So it's a lot easier to go back and get progress from founders who maybe weren't quite ready for an investment, but you thought had promise and you wanted to go check in and see kind of where they're at. You'll see your dashboard, your profile with that pitchable link that we talked about, as well as an opportunity to showcase any blogs or articles that you've been featured in, and deals that you've recently viewed in your network. And so adding a network is really simple. So if you have a group of investors that you like to share deals with, you can invite them by searching for them directly on the platform. And if their name doesn't show up, you can add them manually. And you do this just by sending their first and last name, their email, and if you'd like, you can add a Crunchbase URL. Then you'll be able to see people in your network here, if they've accepted your request, if they're pending, and any invites that you've sent. Lastly, you'll be able to see your team. And your team is anyone in your actual team that works with you. So if anyone you want to share any tasks with, if there's any due diligence needs, you can assign that directly here. You can also manage what notifications you get, if someone's pitching you, etc. And then your basic account settings. So that's a high-level overview of what you'll see when you log into Startup Networx. We have additional features if you want to keep up with certain trends or topics in different industries. You'll see that in your homepage. You can pick what type of companies you want to track, and those will all live on your homepage. But the deal dashboard really aims to solve the problem of streamlining, needing the deal flow to be a little bit more streamlined. So you're bringing all those deals into one place, and it's easy to keep track of where those deals stand, and also stay up to date on any deals that you pass on. You can also amplify the amount of deals you're getting by sharing this with your network. So now let's take a quick look at what this process looks like for the founders.
All right. Cool. So this is kind of from the founder's point of view. This is where they'll be able to see how many pitches they've sent, how many are pending, and due diligence, tracking, and committed. You can see here that this founder has sent one to Matt B. It's in his tracking, and this is sent to Helen, and it's pending a response. They also have their own features over here, which we can go through a bit later if we have time. And then the other thing I wanted to show on the founder side is this is what it looks like from the founder's point of view if they wanted to pitch an investor. So if they want to pitch Matt B, if they click the pitchable link, this is what it brings them to. So this is the pitchable link right there, right there. And they click pitch, and they can select, they can create a new one, or they can select one they've already got. So those are the two main features. We just wanted to showcase those. I know this is geared towards investors, but to just give you an idea of what it looks like from that founder's point of view. And they can pitch just with one click too. So it's incredibly easy for the founders to pitch you. And I think we can close out here. I'm going to toss it back to Michael. If anybody has any questions, we can definitely address those right now.
Okay, so as we mentioned, I think just like as a little rounding out what we've shown you, this is essentially a platform designed to help improve your entire fundraising process by making it easier for founders to pitch you. They create one pitch that will live on Networx that then they can share with investors, as with Emily said, with one click. And they can send off that same pitch, so they don't have to go in and create countless intake forms or meet with, you know, thousands of different investors. They can send that off with that one click. And then on the investor side, you're able to put a pitchable link that's going to really increase the likelihood that someone reaches out to you, as opposed to, let's say, a contact form on your website. It's a lot more inviting and personal because you have all of your investment info and they're guided through the process of what they need to fill out and what information they need to share in order to pitch you. So it makes the whole process a lot easier and a lot more pain-free for people on both sides. And then on the investor side, you're able to track with that Kanban style dashboard where everything's at for your pipeline.